Duncan Wood is director of the Wilson Center's Mexico Institute. He joins us to discuss the ongoing saga of the drug lord El Chapo, who 6 months ago we sat in this room and talked about his dramatic escape from prison, and now you join us to talk about his arrest 6 months later.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary turn of events. A lot of us, I think, who follow this very closely were so surprised that they were able to capture him again so quickly. 6 months may not seem like a short period of time, but given this man's resources, the fact that he was holed up in his home state of Sinaloa, where a lot of people know him and are willing to protect him, he has incredible networks there. I'm actually surprised that he was recaptured so quickly. Also surprised that he was recaptured alive. He knows what's coming to him this time around. He knows that he's going to be extradited to the United States, and you would have thought that he was ready to go out guns blazing. Now, of course, there was a gunfight. People died, but he didn't lose his own life.
Now, what do you think? Is this just dumb luck, or is this a sign that Mexican security and police forces are doing a better job?
I think that clearly Mexican authorities have done a good job on this. I doubt very much they did it alone. I'm almost certain that there was very, very close cooperation with the United States, with military and intelligence services here in the U.S. Immediately after the capture, a U.S. official went on the record saying this was a Mexican-led, Mexican planned operation. Because the U.S. is always anxious to respect the fact that Mexicans want to show that they can actually do these things themselves. But whichever way it turns out, the fact is that they were able to recapture him. He's gone back to prison right now, and now we're waiting to see what the next step is in the justice process.
The melodrama around the soap opera around his arrest. Kate de Castillo, an actress in Mexico, Sean Penn, a prominent American actress, involved around an interview conducted for Rolling Stone. Is there anything here worth discussing as far as you're concerned, or is this a matter of journalistic ethics?
Well, I think that there's always a question of journalistic ethics here, and you've seen the reaction on social media from journalists in the United States and in Mexico. Some people are concerned about the glorification of El Chapo as a criminal figure. Other people are concerned about the fact that he was basically given the right to approve the story before it was published. Other people are concerned that Sean Penn did this and withheld information from the authorities, both in the United States and in Mexico. I think there's a certain amount of hypocrisy here. Every journalist in the world would have given their right arm to have gone to have that interview. But certainly it adds to the Hollywood nature of it. And, when we go back through the story, we go back to, El Chapo's origins as a humble rural country boy. He then is arrested and spends a few years in prison. He claims that all he was a simple bean and corn farmer in those days. He then escapes from prison. He's recaptured. He escapes again. There are gun battles trying to recapture him. He's finally recaptured. He is held in a no-tell motel, a hotel that you rent by the hour, for a while. He's then sent to the same prison that he escaped from last time. And now we have this extra layer of Sean Penn, Hollywood being involved.
I see a future for you as a consultant on the screenplay based on this. The extradition, lawyers say it could take as much as a year. And one thing I'm wondering about is, why this time Mexico is hell-bent for extradition, where in the past that wasn't the story?
It's a very, very good question. So when he was captured in February of 2015, first of all, the government made a huge fanfare about his capture, much as they have done this time. And the Mexican president, Enrique Peña Nieto, went on the record in saying, in response to a question, what if he was to escape from prison? The president said this would be imperdonable, this would be unforgivable, and of course he escaped. When the then Attorney General of the country was asked about extradition to the United States, Murillo Karam, the Attorney General, said, we'll think about extraditing to the United States when he served his time here in Mexico in 300 or 400 years' time. So there was a certain hubris at the time. And the government was humiliated by that, ridiculed by the Mexican public. Furthermore, when El Chapo escaped, U.S. authorities were clearly furious with their Mexican counterparts, not in public, but in private. They made the message very, very clear that this was not something that they were willing to tolerate again. And so this time around, we've seen a very, very quick reaction from the Mexican government saying, we are going to extradite him. There's not any discussion about whether or not Mexican jails could hold him or couldn't hold him. They've just said, now's the time to send him north.
Final thought about whether or not this boosts the perceptions of the government's ability to deal with crime in Mexico. Is this just a perception, or is this really a step forward?
Well, first of all, I think we have to recognize that that last week, a few days before he was recaptured, there was the editorial in the New York Times, which attacked the Mexican government on 3 counts. 1, conflict of interest and corruption. 2, the Ayotzinapa case where the 43 students disappeared. And thirdly, the escape of El Chapo. This is seen by the Mexican public as being, in part, a Mexican government response to those criticisms. This helps the government. They are actually capable of doing these things in collaboration with the United States. And so it shows that it's not totally incompetent, which is a very, very important thing. This helps the government in that way. But it also sparks that extra debate within the country. A lot of people are saying, as El Chapo did himself in the interview with Rolling Stone, they're saying, look, if El Chapo is captured, it changes nothing about the country. It doesn't change the outlook for the rule of law. It doesn't change the drug trade. And it doesn't change the fact that still thousands of people are dying because of drug violence.
Well, on that note, on that somber note, we will leave this discussion, but we're sure to revisit it. As you said, this is quite a saga and it's not over yet.
Absolutely. Thanks, John.
Duncan.